The message arrived on a Tuesday morning, a series of rhythmic pulses that broke through the normal static of deep space. At first, the scientists at the Global Space Communications Center thought it was a glitch in their equipment. But after 3 days of the same pattern repeating, they had to accept the truth. Humanity was not alone. Lieutenant John Miller sat at his monitoring station, listening to the alien transmission for the 5th time that hour. 6 years in the Navy's Deep Space Monitoring Division had not prepared him for this moment. No one was prepared. Still obsessing over those signals, Commander Susan Wright placed a coffee mug next to his keyboard. The translation team will figure it out. There's something off about them, John said, removing his headphones. The patterns don't match any known mathematical sequence we expect from a first contact scenario. Susan shrugged. That's why they're aliens, not humans. 2 weeks after the first signal, the Orion Collective arrived. Their ships appeared suddenly beyond the moon's orbit. 7 massive vessels shaped like elongated diamonds, their surfaces reflecting the sun's light in ways that made them seem to shimmer and pulse. The world watched in awe as representatives from the United Nations met with the alien ambassador, a tall humanoid figure with pale blue skin and eyes that seemed too large for its narrow face. The alien spoke perfect English, explaining they had been studying Earth's broadcasts for decades. "We come in peace and friendship," the ambassador said in the globally broadcast meeting. "Our civilization has much to share with yours." And share they did. In the months that followed, the Orion Collective offered cures for 3 types of cancer, technology to clean polluted waters, and designs for more efficient solar panels. Earth's governments welcomed them with open arms. New research centers were built where human and alien scientists worked side by side. John Miller was transferred to the Joint Species Communication Facility in Nevada. His job was to monitor and analyze the ongoing communications between Earth and the 5 Orion ships that remained in orbit. 2 had departed a month after arrival, supposedly returning to their home system. "Look at this transmission log," John said to his coworker, Alan Douglas. "They're sending massive data bursts to their ships every night at exactly 3:27 a.m. Alan yawned. "Probably just system updates. The higher-ups have cleared all their communications. But they never mention these transmissions in their daily reports," John pointed at his screen. "And they always happen when they think we're not monitoring." Over the next few weeks, John noticed more discrepancies. The Orion ships were slowly changing positions, moving into what appeared to be strategic locations around Earth. Their visitors were bringing more equipment to the surface, large devices they claimed were for atmospheric research. When John filed his 3rd report about his concerns, Commander Wright called him into her office. "Miller, your observations have been noted," she said, not looking up from her tablet. "But the diplomats and scientists are satisfied with the Orion's explanations. Their technology is helping us advance decades overnight. With respect, Commander, something isn't right. They're scanning our military installations. I've tracked their observation satellites. They're mapping our defenses." Susan finally looked up at him, her expression serious. "You need to stop this, John. The Orion Alliance is too important to risk with unfounded suspicions." That night, John couldn't sleep. He got up and accessed the communication logs from his home terminal. What he saw made his blood run cold. A new message was being broadcast from the largest Orion ship to what appeared to be a massive fleet waiting just beyond Pluto. The message was brief. Defenses mapped. Population centers identified. Proceed with Phase 2. John grabbed his phone to call Commander Wright when the first explosions lit up the night sky. The Orion Collective had shown their true intentions, and Earth was not prepared. The sound of the explosion threw John Miller to the floor. His ears rang as dust fell from the ceiling. Outside his window, bright flashes lit up the night sky. The attack had begun without warning. John scrambled to his feet and grabbed his emergency bag. Years of military training kicked in as he moved quickly through his small apartment, gathering only what was essential. His phone buzzed with an incoming call from Commander Wright. "John, Are you there?" Her voice was strained, emergency alarms blaring in the background. "I'm here. What's happening at the base?" John pulled on his boots. "We're under direct attack. The Orion ships are targeting military installations worldwide." A loud crash interrupted her. "Get to the Colorado facility. Project Phoenix." "Do you understand?" "Project Phoenix. I don't have clearance for." "You do now. Find Dr. Eleanor Green. She's expecting you." The line went dead. John reached his car just as another explosion rocked the neighborhood. The roads were chaotic with panicked drivers. He weaved through the traffic, radio stations broadcasting emergency messages. The president's voice came through, calling for calm before being cut off mid-sentence. 3 hours later, John abandoned his car on a jammed highway and continued on foot. The sky was filled with alien crafts, sleek and predatory. They fired precise energy beams at specific targets: military bases, power plants, government buildings. This wasn't random destruction. It was methodical. By dawn, John had hitched a ride with a family heading to the mountains. They dropped him off at a rural gas station 30 miles from the Colorado facility. "Good luck, man," said the driver. "Whole world's gone crazy." A military truck appeared on the horizon as John walked along the empty road. He flagged it down, showing his ID to the grim-faced soldiers inside. "Lieutenant Miller." "We've been looking for you," said the driver. "Dr. Green sent us." The entrance to the facility was hidden in what appeared to be an abandoned mine shaft. Heavy blast doors opened as they approached. Inside, the contrast was stark. A modern military installation buzzing with activity. Soldiers and civilians worked side by side, faces tense with purpose. A woman with short gray hair approached him. "Lieutenant Miller, I'm Dr. Eleanor Green." She didn't offer her hand. "Follow me." She led him through corridors filled with people carrying equipment, scientists huddled over computers, and medical staff treating the wounded. "This facility was built 5 years ago," Dr. Green explained as they walked. "A contingency plan for exactly this scenario." "You expected an alien invasion?" John asked. "We expected something. Humanity needed a backup plan." She stopped at a security door, scanning her badge. "Welcome to Project Phoenix." The door opened to reveal an enormous underground cavern. John's mouth fell open. Inside were spaceships, 5 of them, each the size of a Navy destroyer. "We've been building these since we detected the first anomalies in deep space," Dr. Green said. "Based on our own technology, not theirs. They don't know about this place." "How many survived the attack?" John asked. Dr. Green's face darkened. "Major cities were hit first. Casualty reports are still coming in, but we're talking billions, not millions." A general approached them, his uniform dusty and torn. "Dr. Green, we've got communications from resistance cells forming in Atlanta and Phoenix." "This is Lieutenant Miller," she said. "Commander Wright sent him." The general nodded. "Susan didn't make it. Her last transmission warned us about a second wave of attacks." John felt the news like a physical blow. "Sir, before the attack, I intercepted communications suggesting they're after something specific. This isn't just conquest." "We've come to the same conclusion," Dr. Green said. "They're scanning for something. And they're taking people, not killing everyone." "Why?" John asked. The general's radio crackled with an urgent message. He listened, his expression grim. "We just lost Washington," he said. "The president is dead." Dr. Green touched John's arm. "We have work to do, Lieutenant. We need to understand what they want from Earth, and then we need to make them regret ever coming here." Outside the safety of the mountain facility, humanity faced its darkest hour. But inside, the seeds of resistance were taking root. 3 weeks passed since the invasion began. The underground facility hummed with constant activity as the remaining military forces organized their resistance. General Richard Carter had taken command after the fall of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Under his leadership, the survivors established a routine. John Miller now worked directly with Dr. Green in the Technology Analysis Lab. Their workspace was filled with salvaged alien equipment, weapons, communication devices, and fragments of a downed scout ship. "Look at this circuit pattern," Dr. Green said, pointing to a holographic display of an alien device. "It uses principles we've never seen before." John leaned closer. "The energy flow doesn't make sense. It seems to loop back on itself." "Exactly. I think they're harnessing some kind of quantum effect." She pushed back from the table, rubbing her tired eyes. "If we can understand how it works, we might be able to disrupt their communications." A soldier entered the lab with a tablet. "Lieutenant Miller, General Carter wants to see you both." They found the general in the command center, a large room filled with screens showing maps and data feeds. Reports from surviving resistance cells around the world flowed in constantly. "We've made contact with a police officer who's organized a civilian resistance group in Chicago," Carter said without looking up from his display. "Diane Powell, former SWAT. She's gathered about 300 survivors in the underground tunnels." "Are they armed?" John asked. "Barely, but they've been watching the aliens, gathering intel." Carter swiped through images on his screen. "Powell reports that the aliens are setting up some kind of drilling equipment in the city center." Dr. Green studied the blurry photos. "Similar equipment has been reported in London, Beijing, and Sao Paulo." "What are they digging for?" John wondered aloud. "That's what I want you to find out." Carter finally looked up at them. "I'm sending a team to extract Powell and her key people. I want you on that team, Miller." John straightened. "Yes, sir." Dr. Green, "You'll debrief them when they return. If they've been watching these drilling operations, they might have information we need." 3 days later, John and a small team of 6 operators moved through the ruins of Chicago. They wore salvaged alien armor over their military gear, a discovery that helped mask their heat signatures from enemy scanners. "2 patrols ahead," whispered Sam Baker, the team's scout. "They're using those dog-like robots." "Hold position," John ordered. The alien hunters were efficient killing machines, with sensory capabilities far beyond human technology. The team pressed against the wall of a collapsed building, barely breathing as the patrol passed. They reached the entrance to the old service tunnels as night fell. 3 quick knocks, pause, 2 more. The hidden door slid open to reveal a woman pointing a shotgun at them. "Lieutenant Miller?" she asked, her voice rough. "Diane Powell." John lowered his weapon slightly. She nodded and beckoned them in. "Hurry. Patrols increase after dark." The tunnel led to a larger space where people had created a makeshift community. Children played quietly in one corner while adults maintained weapons or sorted supplies. "You've done well here," John said as Powell led them to a small room serving as her headquarters. "We've stayed alive. That's about it." She spread a map on the table. "But we've been watching them. Every day. Same routine. They'd bring equipment in, take something out." "What are they extracting?" Dr. Green had insisted John ask specific questions. Powell reached into a crate and pulled out a sealed container. Inside was a glowing blue substance. "This. They're drilling deep, way deeper than any human mining operation. Whatever this stuff is, they want it bad." John carefully took the container. "We need to get this back to the facility." Powell nodded. "Take it. But I have something else to show you first." She led him to another room where 3 people lay on makeshift beds, their skin covered in strange blue markings. They were captured and escaped. The aliens are experimenting on people. One of the men looked up at John with cloudy eyes. "They're looking for something in our blood," he whispered. "Something only humans have." John felt a chill run down his spine. The invasion wasn't just about Earth's resources. There was something about humanity itself that the Orion Collective wanted. The blue substance glowed under the laboratory lights as Dr. Green studied it. She had been working nonstop for 3 days, since John returned from Chicago with the sample. Dark circles had formed under her eyes, but excitement radiated from her as she waved John over. "Look at this," she said, pointing to her microscope. This material isn't just an element. It's alive in some way. John leaned in to look. The blue substance seemed to pulse with tiny flashes of light, almost like a heartbeat. "They're drilling to Earth's core for this?" he asked. "Yes. And now I understand why." Dr. Green pulled up a chart on her computer. "This substance interacts with their biology. Based on the tissue samples we recovered from their crashed ship, I believe they need it to survive." General Carter entered the lab with Diane Powell. After the successful Chicago mission, Powell had been brought to the facility to help coordinate civilian resistance groups. "Tell them what you told me," Carter said to Dr. Green. "The aliens, the Orion Collective, are dying," Dr. Green explained. "This blue substance prevents some kind of genetic breakdown in their species. Earth has a rich supply of it deep in the core. So they came here to mine it," John said. "But why the experiments on humans?" Dr. Green's face lit up with the thrill of discovery. "That's the breakthrough. Human DNA contains a sequence that can bond with this substance. Our bodies can process it naturally. And theirs can't," Powell asked. "Exactly. They evolved differently. They need machines to process it." Dr. Green pulled up images of human blood cells. "But there's more. When I exposed the alien tissue samples to human blood, it caused a reaction, almost like an allergic response. Our biology is toxic to them." The room fell silent as they processed this information. "You're saying we could use human DNA as a weapon against them?" Carter asked finally. "Potentially, if we can isolate the specific protein sequence and deliver it properly." Dr. Green nodded. "It won't kill them instantly, but it could make them very sick, possibly disrupt their ability to function." John looked at the map of alien drilling sites around the world. "This explains why they're taking people. They're studying us, trying to find a way around this biological incompatibility. But they haven't found it yet," Powell added, "which gives us an advantage." Carter paced the small lab. "How quickly can you weaponize this?" "I need more time and equipment," Dr. Green said. "But there's something else you should know." She pulled up a graphic of Earth's structure. "The way they're drilling, it's dangerous. They're destabilizing the planet's core. If they keep going at this rate, they could trigger massive earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, maybe worse." "How much worse?" Carter asked. Dr. Green's voice was quiet. "They could make Earth uninhabitable, even for them. They're that desperate." John couldn't believe what he was hearing. "It seems so." Dr. Green looked grim. "Which means we don't have much time." Powell slammed her hand on the table. "So what's the plan? We can't just sit here while they destroy our planet." Carter looked at each of them. "We don't need to defeat them completely. We just need to make Earth too costly a target." He turned to Dr. Green. "How soon can you create enough of this biological agent to deploy?" "With the right team, maybe 2 weeks." "You have one." Carter turned to John. "Miller, I want you to coordinate with Powell. Your team will need to infiltrate one of their ships. If we can release the agent into their air systems, it could spread to their entire fleet." "That's suicide," Powell said. John nodded slowly. "Maybe. But if Dr. Green is right about what they're doing to the planet, we're all dead anyway." Outside the lab, a messenger arrived with news. 2 more major cities had fallen. The aliens were accelerating their drilling operations. "They know we're up to something," Carter said. "We need to move fast." Dr. Green gathered her samples. "I'll need volunteers for blood donations. Lots of them." John looked at the others. "Tell them it's for a weapon. One the aliens won't see coming." For the first time since the invasion, they had a plan that might work. A way to fight back. And maybe, just maybe, save what was left of humanity. The small fleet of stolen alien shuttles flew low over the ruins of what was once Denver. John Miller checked his equipment one last time. Around him, 20 soldiers did the same. This was humanity's desperate gamble. Operation Scorched Earth. 5 minutes to drop zone. The pilot called back. John nodded to Sam Baker beside him. Remember, we need to reach the central air circulation system. If we can even find it, Sam muttered. In the week since Dr. Green's discovery, the situation had grown worse. More drilling sites had appeared worldwide. Earthquakes now struck daily. The alien mothership had moved into low Earth orbit, a massive shadow blocking out the sun in places. John's team carried the biological agent in specially designed canisters. Dr. Green had worked day and night to perfect it, a concentrated form of the human protein sequence that was toxic to the aliens. Tests on captured aliens had proven it worked, causing severe respiratory distress and eventual system failure. 1 minute, the pilot warned. John activated his radio. All teams, check in. 4 other team leaders responded from their shuttles. Simultaneously, Diane Powell was leading civilian resistance fighters in attacks on ground installations worldwide, a distraction to draw attention from the real mission. Approaching landing zone now, the pilot said. Defense systems appear to be focused elsewhere. The shuttle touched down on the massive alien ship. Magnetic clamps engaged, giving them a secure dock against the smooth hull. John's team moved quickly, using salvaged alien cutting tools to create an entry point. We're in, John reported as they slipped into a dimly lit corridor. The air felt thick and humid, designed for alien biology. The team split up according to plan. John led his group toward what their intelligence suggested was the central ventilation hub. They encountered few aliens. Most were likely managing the planet-side operations. The resistance attacks must be working, Sam whispered as they moved through the corridors. They're distracted. After 20 minutes of careful navigation, they reached a massive chamber. Towering machines pumped air throughout the ship. This is it, John said. Set the charges and prepare the canisters. While his team worked, John received updates from the other groups. 2 had reached their targets. 1 had been discovered and was fighting their way to their objective. The 4th had gone silent. Charges set, Sam reported. Once we blow these panels, we can insert the canisters directly into the main system. John checked his watch. We're ahead of schedule. Let's. An alarm blared suddenly. Echoing through the ship, lights flashed red along the corridors. They've detected us, John said. Move fast. Just as Sam reached for the detonator, a door at the far end of the chamber slid open. 3 aliens entered, weapons raised. They were tall, blue-skinned beings with elongated limbs and large, dark eyes. John fired, taking down one. The others scattered, returning fire with energy weapons that scorched the metal walls. Now, Sam, John shouted. Sam hit the detonator. The charges blew, sending metal panels flying. John grabbed the first canister and threw it into the exposed ventilation system. The alien weapon fire intensified. Sam was hit, falling to his knees with a cry of pain. John dragged him behind cover, then threw the second canister. A fine mist began to spread through the air system. All teams, report status. John called into his radio. 1 by 1, the teams confirmed success. Their portion of the mission was complete. The biological agent was entering the ship's air supply. Extraction route is compromised, came a voice over the radio. All teams, find alternate exits. John looked at Sam, whose breathing was shallow. Can you walk? Leave me, Sam said. I'll cover your escape. Not happening, John said, pulling him up. We finish this together. As they made their way back through the corridors, they began to see the effects of the biological agent. Aliens lay on the floor, struggling to breathe, their blue skin turning a sickly gray. Outside, the planet's surface trembled with another earthquake. The aliens' drilling operations continued despite the attack on their ships. Earth was running out of time. John and the surviving members of his team reached their shuttle just as another violent tremor shook the alien ship. They disengaged the clamps and pulled away, heading back toward the hidden mountain base. Did we do enough? Sam asked weakly as they flew over the devastated landscape below. John looked out at the burning cities and the massive alien drills piercing the Earth's crust. "This was just the beginning," he said. "But now, they know we can hurt them." 2 days after Operation Scorched Earth, John stood in the command center with General Carter and Dr. Green. The screens showed live feeds from around the world. Their attack had worked better than expected. Alien ships hung motionless in orbit, crews too sick to operate them. On the ground, alien forces had pulled back from many areas, retreating to their main bases. "The biological agent is spreading through their ranks," Dr. Green reported. "Their communication chatter shows they're in disarray." "But the drilling hasn't stopped," John pointed out. The largest screens showed the massive drilling operations continuing across the globe. "They've automated the process." General Carter nodded grimly. "The latest data from our remaining satellites confirms it. Earth's core is becoming unstable. We have weeks at most before catastrophic failure." The door opened, and Diane Powell entered. Her arm was in a sling, injured during the coordinated resistance attacks. "We just got word from our scouts. Something big is happening at the alien command base in what used to be Miami." "Show me," Carter ordered. Powell handed him a tablet with grainy photos. A massive alien, different from the others they had seen, had emerged from the main ship, nearly 9 feet tall, with darker blue skin and elaborate armor. "Their leader," John guessed. "Seems likely," Powell agreed. "And there's more. They're broadcasting a message on all frequencies. Our linguists are still working on a full translation, but the gist is clear. They're demanding our surrender." Dr. Green studied the images. "They must be desperate. The biological agent is working, but they're still determined to get what they came for. They're threatening to accelerate the drilling," Powell added, "to tear the planet apart if necessary." Carter's face hardened. "Then we have no choice. We deploy our nuclear arsenal." The room fell silent. Earth's remaining nuclear weapons had been held in reserve, their launch facilities kept secret from the aliens. "Will that even work against their shields?" John asked. "Probably not against their ships," Carter admitted. "But we can target the drilling sites. Bury them deep enough that even if Earth survives, they can't get to what they want." Dr. Green spoke up. "There's something else you should know. I've been studying their communications since the attack. They're not just here for the blue substance. Their homeworld is dying. This is their last hope for survival as a species." John felt a strange mixture of emotions, anger at the invasion, yet a flicker of understanding. "So they decided our world should die instead of theirs." "Exactly," Dr. Green said. "And they've sent a message to their fleet beyond our solar system. Reinforcements are coming." Carter looked around the room at the faces of humanity's last defense. "How long until Project Phoenix is ready to launch?" 3 days at best," said a voice from the doorway. Chief Engineer Frank Wilson had entered silently. "We're loading supplies and personnel now." Carter nodded. "Then we have our timeline. The nuclear strike happens tomorrow. That should buy us the time we need to evacuate as many people as possible." "And what about the aliens' leader?" Powell asked. "I have an idea about that," John said. Everyone turned to him. "We know their command ship is vulnerable. Their defenses are weakened by the biological agent. If a small team could infiltrate it again, we could capture their leader. Use him as leverage." "That's too risky," Carter argued. "Maybe. But I need to try." John pulled up the schematics they had gathered from their previous mission. "If we can get to their communication system, we might learn more about their reinforcements, how many are coming when they'll arrive. That information could be crucial for our survival." Carter studied him for a long moment, then nodded. "Take a small team. Volunteers only." "I'm in," Powell said immediately. As they left to prepare, John glanced back at the screens showing Earth's devastated surface. Cities lay in ruins. Oceans had risen from melting ice caps. The sky was dark with ash and dust. This was humanity's last stand, not just for their planet, but for their very existence. And somehow, he had to find a way to make the aliens regret ever starting this war. Outside the command center, the ground trembled with another quake. Time was running out. The stolen alien shuttle approached the massive command ship under the cover of a radiation storm. Inside, John and his small team of 4 volunteers checked their weapons one last time. Diane Powell sat beside him, her injured arm now healed enough for combat. "This is crazy, you know that," she whispered. John nodded. "But necessary." The last 24 hours had been chaotic. General Carter had launched the nuclear strikes against the major drilling sites. The explosions had temporarily halted the operations, but at a cost. The already unstable planet now suffered constant earthquakes. Entire coastlines had vanished under rising waters. 2 minutes to docking. The pilot called back. "Their defenses are minimal. The biological agent did its job." They approached from the ship's underside, attaching to a rarely used maintenance board they had identified from previous missions. The team moved quickly through the corridors, encountering few aliens. Most were incapacitated by the spreading illness. According to the schematics, the communication hub should be 2 levels up, John said, consulting the small device Dr. Green had given him. They reached the hub without resistance, finding only 3 sick aliens who were quickly subdued. Powell took position at the door while John accessed the alien computer system. "Dr. Green's translation program is working," he said as alien symbols transformed into English on his screen. "I'm accessing their communication logs now." What he found made his blood run cold. The reinforcement fleet, it's massive. At least 30 ships, bigger than anything we've seen. And they'll be here in less than a week. "Can Earth even last that long?" Powell asked. Before John could answer, an alert flashed on the screen. "They've detected us. We need to move. Now." As they turned to leave, the door slid open. Standing there was the alien leader they had seen in the photos, flanked by guards. Though clearly affected by the biological agent, the massive blue-skinned being stood tall. "Humans," it spoke in a deep, raspy voice. "You are persistent." Its guards raised their weapons, but the leader held up a hand to stop them. "Your biological attack was unexpected. Impressive. You're killing our planet," John said. "Did you expect us to just let you?" "We expected resistance, not innovation." The alien leader studied them. "But it changes nothing. Our reinforcements will arrive. Your planet's core contains what we need to survive. Even if it means Earth dies in the process," Powell challenged. "Yes." The alien's large eyes showed no remorse. "Your species or mine. The choice is simple." John stepped forward. "There's another way. Dr. Green has found a method to synthesize the element you need. We could share the technology." The alien leader seemed surprised. "You offer cooperation now. After all this, I offer survival for both our species." John activated his communicator. "But first, you need to stop the drilling operations." The leader considered this for a long moment. Then a violent tremor shook the ship, stronger than any before. Alarms blared throughout the vessel. One of the alien guards checked a nearby console, speaking urgently in their language. The leader's expression changed. "It appears cooperation is no longer an option," it said. "Your planet's core has begun to collapse. The process cannot be stopped now." John exchanged a glance with Powell. This was what they had feared. "The Project Phoenix vessels," John said into his communicator. "They need to launch now." General Carter's voice came through with static. "Already underway. Get back here if you can, Miller." The alien leader watched this exchange with interest. "You have evacuation ships. Impressive again." Another violent tremor hit, throwing everyone off balance. Part of the ceiling collapsed, crushing one of the alien guards. "Go," the alien leader said suddenly. "My ship will soon leave orbit. This planet is lost to both of us now." John hesitated, then turned to his team. "Fall back to the shuttle." As they retreated, John heard the alien leader give orders to abandon Earth. The massive drilling machines would be left behind, as the planet tore itself apart. The team raced back through the corridors, the ship shaking around them. They'd reached their shuttle just as another section of the alien vessel collapsed. As they pulled away from the command ship, they saw the first of the Project Phoenix vessels rising from Earth's surface, humanity's last hope, carrying thousands of survivors to the stars. Behind them, the blue planet that had been humanity's home for millennia began to break apart. John Miller stood at the viewport of the lead ship, now named Hope, watching as Earth shattered behind them. The once blue planet glowed with fiery red cracks spreading across its surface. 5 Project Phoenix vessels had managed to launch, carrying 50,000 survivors, a tiny fraction of humanity's billions. "We need to increase our speed," Dr. Green said, joining him at the window. "The shockwave will reach us soon." John nodded, unable to look away from the death of his homeworld. How many alien ships got away? 4, including their command vessel. "They're moving out of the system quickly." General Carter's voice came over the ship's communication system. "All personnel, prepare for maximum acceleration. Secure all loose equipment and take your assigned positions." The ship rumbled as its engines pushed to full power. Earth continued to break apart, pieces flying outward as the core collapsed. The sight was both beautiful and horrifying. "We need to talk about what happens next," Dr. Green said as they moved away from the viewport. "The alien reinforcement fleet will still come. When they find Earth destroyed and their advance force damaged, they'll look for someone to blame." "They'll hunt us," John agreed. They reached the bridge where General Carter coordinated with the other Phoenix ships. Diane Powell was there too, now serving as security chief for the vessel. "Status report," Carter demanded as they entered. "Ship systems functioning at 93%, reported Frank Wilson from the engineering station. "The other vessels are keeping pace. We have enough supplies for 6 months if we're careful." "And the alien ships?" Carter asked. "Moving toward the outer system, but slowly. Their engines appear damaged." John stepped forward. "General, we need to decide our course. The alien reinforcements will arrive in less than a week." Carter nodded. "We can't outrun them. Their technology is still superior to ours. But we have something they don't," Dr. Green said. "I've completed the research I started on Earth. We can synthesize the element they need, and we have the biological agent to use as leverage." Powell joined the conversation. "So we negotiate from a position of strength. After what they did to Earth." "No," John said firmly. "Not negotiate. We send them a message." He walked to the communication station and activated the system. "What are you doing, Miller?" Carter asked. "Sending our terms." John adjusted the broadcast to transmit on all frequencies, including those used by the alien fleet. "They need to understand what happens when you attack humanity." The bridge crew fell silent as John began to speak. "This is Lieutenant John Miller of Earth. Our planet is gone, destroyed by your mining operations. But humanity survives. We know you need the element from our planet's core to save your species. We can synthesize it. We also have the biological agent that has already crippled your advance force. Here are our terms. Leave this solar system and never return. Any aggression against human survivors will be met with the release of our biological weapon into every ship in your fleet. Remember what happened here. Remember that when pushed to the edge of extinction, humanity didn't beg for mercy. We fought back. You thought we were easy prey. You were wrong. We will rebuild. We will grow stronger. And if you ever threaten us again, we will finish what we started. Earth is gone, but humanity lives. And we're coming for you. You'll regret this war for generations to come." John ended the transmission. The bridge remained silent for a long moment. "Will they listen?" Powell asked finally. "They might," Dr. Green said. "They're desperate, and we hold the solutions to both their problems." The ship's sensors suddenly alerted them to a new signal. Another vessel was approaching, not alien in design, but not from Earth either. "Unknown ship requesting communication," the officer at the sensor station reported. General Carter looked to John, then nodded. "Put it through." A new voice filled the bridge, speaking in perfect English. "Survivors of Earth, this is Captain Laura Hart of the Alliance vessel Pathfinder. We've been monitoring the conflict from the edge of your system. We offer sanctuary and alliance against the Orion Collective." John and the others exchanged shocked glances. They were not alone in the universe after all. As the remnants of Earth faded behind them, humanity faced an uncertain future among the stars. But they went forward not as refugees, but as warriors with a message for the galaxy. Never underestimate the will of the human spirit.